Hello students, welcome to Ekam IAS Academy. Today in another 40 minutes or so, we will discuss about one important dimension, that is how to crack UPSC in the first attempt. See, it is the dream of many students to crack UPSC in the first attempt, but however, because of lack of awareness how to approach, how to strategize their preparation strategy, they are not able to achieve this feat of cracking the UPSC in the first attempt. So next 40 minutes or so, I will try to talk about the various strategies that a student has to incorporate in his or her what you call learning strategy to crack this examination in the first attempt. Okay. So with this as a small prelude, we go to the see, as you all might be aware, but for the benefit of those who do not understand, I would like to repeat for the benefit of all that the UPSC is basically a three-staged examination. When I say it is a three-staged examination, in the first stage, when we say UPSC is a three-staged examination. Three-staged examination means basically the examination which is conducted in 3 stages. The examination that is conducted in 3 stages. Three stages. In the stage 1, we have something known as Prelims Examination. This Prelims Examination, as we all know, is primarily objective type of examination in which there are 2 papers. Paper 1 is GS paper, paper 2 is called Csat paper, right? The GS paper and the Csat paper both are of objective type of paper, right? And both the papers are for 200 marks each. Both the papers are for 200 marks each. In the paper 1, you have 100 questions, while in the paper 2, you will have only 80 questions. That is the difference between the paper 1 and paper 2. It means in the GS paper, each question carries 2 marks, and in the Csat paper, each question carries 2.5 marks, because there are only 80 questions here. So it carries 2.5 marks. This carries 2 marks per question. For Csat, clearing this Csat paper, what UPSC says is that you need to get 33% marks. It means out of 200, we need to get 66 marks to qualify in the paper 2, that is Csat paper. But when it comes to GS paper, the qualification of the GS paper is based on something known as cutoff. It is based on something known as cutoff. Now, how the cutoff is determined, we will not get into that. For the general category students, the cutoff varies anywhere between 85 to 105. This is the range where the cutoff is determined. For the OBC student, you can say that the cutoff will be anywhere between 80 to 100 marks. Like this, for SC, ST, the cutoff further reduces anywhere between 70 to 85 marks. This is the general cutoff levels for the SC, ST, and for the physically handicapped, it further goes down anywhere between 60 to 70 marks for the physically handicapped students. So this is the cutoff variations. Provided you cross the minimum cutoff level and you get minimum 66 marks, you qualify in the first stage called the Prelims Examination. Having qualified in the first stage, you enter the second stage called Mains Examination. And this Mains Examination, as we all know, there are total of 9 papers in the Mains Examination, in which 2 papers are language papers, which are of 300 marks each. Which are those 2 language papers? One is a compulsory Indian language, any Indian language that is mentioned in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. This is one paper, any Indian language that is mentioned in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. Generally, the students take either Hindi, Telugu, depending on the state they belong to, Kannada as their first language paper. The second paper is compulsory English paper. Compulsory English paper is the second. So again, this is also for 300 marks. One important point that we need to notice here is that we need to get a minimum of 25% in each paper. It means Paper 1 we need to get 25% means 75 marks, and the paper 2 also we need to get 75 marks. It means that these two language papers are only qualifying in nature. It means they do not count for your merit. They are only qualifying in nature. After these two qualifying papers, there are 5 most important papers. The first paper which is important is your essay paper, which is for 250 marks. Then you have GS1, GS2, GS3 and GS4 paper. All the 4 papers are for 250 marks each, making the total to 250 into 5, 1250 marks is your GS and essay paper marks, 1250 marks. Other than this, you have one optional subject of 2 papers each, paper 1 and paper 2. Only one subject, 2 papers basically. So the score again is 250 plus 250. So the total goes to 1750 marks for your mains examination completely. So this is the mains ka score, and it is known to be the main battlefield in UPSC. This is the main battlefield in UPSC. Very, very important. Okay. This is where you are competing with others in the UPSC when it comes to your merit. If you happen to get anywhere between 50 to 55% marks, you stand a chance to get the first rank. See the importance, how difficult the paper is. If you happen to get only 50 to 55% also, you stand to get a what you call the first rank in UPSC. The third stage, which is the final stage, the stage 3 what we call it is your stage 3 what we call is your personality test. Very, very important. What we call is the personality test, which is again for 200 and very important 275 marks. So the 1750 of mains plus 275 marks. It means the complete total score of UPSC is 2025 marks. So this is the score of UPSC up to mains. As we discussed, 3 stages: prelim stage, main stage and finally the interview stage. Very, very important. These 3 stages we have discussed, right? Coming back to the pattern of examination, as we all know, the examination that we all are preparing for is known as the Civil Services Examination, and it is conducted by UPSC. The examination mode of conduct is offline only. UPSC does not conduct online exam. This is very important dimension. Each one of you should be knowing. UPSC does not conduct what we call an online examination. You have to go offline to the center and write the examination. So there is no online UPSC examination. The number of stages of examination: prelims, mains and interview we have covered. In prelims we have covered there are 2 papers, GS and Csat. GS stands for General Studies paper and Csat stands for Civil Services Aptitude Test, where basic mathematics, very basic mathematics and your reading comprehension is there. In this Csat paper, very, very what you call, it is basically not even 10th standard. So they try to keep it as low as possible. But believe you me, students even from BTech and MTech background in the past have failed in this examination and failing year after year. That is the reason why now Csat has become a very difficult examination to pass in UPSC. See, try to understand one dimension. Why UPSC is making prelims examination difficult year after year? It is making prelims difficult. Earlier what used to be the trend is prelims was considered to be easy to pass and mains was considered to be very difficult to pass. But now with an intention to reduce the competition in the prelim stage itself, over a period of time UPSC has made the prelims paper more difficult to pass. So this is resulting in many people not qualifying in prelims only. So what happened is, over a period of time, most of the institutes have started glorifying prelims preparation at the cost of mains preparation. So you need to strike a right balance between your preparation of prelims and mains both. As I told you, paper 1, that is GS paper, 2 marks for each question. Paper 2, Csat paper, 2.5 marks for each question. And in UPSC, we have a system of negative marking. The negative marking is 33% negative marking. It means if a question is carrying 2 marks and if you attempt one wrong question, 0.70 marks would be deducted from your right score. So 33% is the negative marking. So the duration of the exams, prelims is for 2 hours and mains each paper is of 3 hours duration, right? The handicapped students get 20 minutes extra per hour. So for example, the prelims is for 2 hours, they will get prelims examination time of 2 hours and 40 minutes. So per every hour they get 20 minutes extra for their examination, right? And types of questions, prelims is objective, mains is subjective. Okay. Now, this we have discussed. Now, the eligibility criteria and the number of attempts. See, as we all know, the general category students get 6 attempts to pass this examination, and the age criteria that is allowed for them is 21 to 32 years for general category students. 21 to 32 years, a general category student can write this examination. Number of attempts given is 6. For a OBC candidate student, the age criteria adds up by 3. For OBC, the age category is 35 and the number of attempts is 9. And for a SC/ST student, there is no limit on the number of attempts. However, the age, add instead of 3, you need to add 5. So it makes to 37. So 32 plus 5. So 32 plus 5 is 37 years. So there is no limit on the number of attempts. It means an SC/ST student, if he starts from the age of 21, he or she can write till the age of 37. It means they will get 16 attempts to clear this examination. And for the physically handicapped, it is 32 plus what you call 10. So it makes to 42 years. So technically, a physically handicapped student gets 22 attempts to pass this examination. If he or she starts 21 attempts, not sorry 22, 21. If he starts at the age of 21 and keeps writing till the age of 42, it means he or she gets 21 attempts to pass this examination. Okay? There is no restriction on the number of attempts. Now, see, when we what you call talk about UPSC, there are a lot of myths concerning UPSC. The biggest myth in UPSC is the students who have passed, they say that I studied 18 hours a day. Believe you me, this is a wrong statement. See, it so happens that when the examination comes closer, anybody will work for 12 to 14 hours per day. It does not mean that the entire duration of preparation he or she studied for 18 hours a day. So if the examination is coming closer, maybe a month or 20 days or 15 days time is left, anybody will study for 16 to 18 hours. So do not get carried away if somebody says that I've studied for 18 hours a day. It is not for the entire duration. See, as a what you call thumb rule, it is said that it takes anywhere between 15 to 18 months to prepare for UPSC. It takes anywhere between 15 to 18 months to prepare for UPSC. In this entire duration, maybe for a month or less than a month, he or she would have studied 18 hours a day. So it does not mean that you have to study from day 1 till you go to write the examination 18 hours a day. Okay, try to understand that dimension. And there is one more notion that one has to be super intelligent to pass UPSC examination. That is again not true. But one quality you need to have that is you should be hardworking. Even if you are a little less intelligent, but if you are hardworking, this is the competition that you can actually pass. And it has been seen over the period of time that it is the students with lesser marks in graduation making it big in UPSC than students with higher marks in graduation. So it means that the role of intelligence, though it is there in passing the examination, but it can be compensated by more amount of hard work. So you need not be you need not be Einstein to write UPSC examination. Okay. Now it takes 5 to 6 years. Another myth that it takes 5 to 6 years to pass the examination. It is a falsified statement. You will take 5 to 6 years if your strategy is wrong. Otherwise, you will not take 5 to 6 years. Only when your strategy is wrong, or if you are not consistent, if you are not consistent in your preparation, only then you will take 5 to 6 years to pass the examination. And UPSC, when I made a statement 15 to 18 months, believe you me, these 18 months you have to study every single day. You cannot miss even one single day. If you start missing days in this 15 to 18 months, you will gradually go from here to here. So that is the reason how you have to master the art of consistency over a period of time. And it is one more, I have heard students saying, sir, I am from BTech background, so probably it is very difficult for me. Believe you me, 83% of the success rate in UPSC is coming from BTech students. So if somebody is saying that you are a BTech, it is difficult for you to pass UPSC, you can show him these facts. So it only means that it is more easier for the BTech students now to pass UPSC because of certain dimensions in the examination. Yes, one more myth, that we should be having a convent English and we should be extremely strong in mathematics. This is also a very big myth in UPSC. It is not the case. You need not have convent English background, but you should have strong command on the vocabulary which is required for UPSC. This vocabulary build-up will happen in this 15 to 18 months time frame. So you don't have to study any English book to build your vocabulary. It will come in the process of learning various subjects which are there in your UPSC, right? And one more myth that I have heard is the postings are generally in rural areas and the district areas. All your lifetime you will get at maximum one posting to district, that is also as a district magistrate, which is one of the best postings of your entire lifetime in bureaucracy. So that is the only time that you get posted to a rural or a district area, otherwise you will not get posted. Yeah, one important question, many of the students, I go to various colleges to take seminars and all, they will ask me, sir, when to start my preparation? See, there is no fixed timeline here, when to start. There are some students who start from 10th standard, there are some students who start from after graduation. There are students. So there is a variation of anywhere between 7 to 8 years in the start point of their preparation. This guy is starting maybe at the age of 14, this guy is starting at the age of 21 or 22. So but the only difference between both of them is this guy has a clear understanding of what is the requirement of UPSC from day one, provided he or she has been correctly guided, if that is the case. And this guy will learn after graduation. Believe you me, the convergence of both the students, the convergence in knowledge can be achieved within 12 to 14 months if rightly guided. It means even though you have started 8 years before, even though I have started after 8 years, I can converge at your knowledge level with the right direction within 12 to 14 months. It is good if you start early, it is not bad if you don't start early. So after graduation can also be an important strategy of preparing for UPSC. The convergence will happen within 12 to 14 to 16 months, nothing to worry, right? Then by what times prelims preparation should be completed? This is generally the question what the students ask. Say for example, next year May 2023, the prelims is scheduled on the 28th of May 2023, that the schedule has already come. It means on this day in 2023, UPSC is holding the prelims examination. So as a thumb rule, always believe that your preparation for mains, when I say mains, your optional preparation, your essay preparation, your ethics preparation should have been completed When I say completed in all dimensions, answer writing, practices, test series, everything, completed minimum 3 months before your prelims examination, so that by 3 months you can concentrate purely on your prelims examination. So when I am saying this 3 months before your mains preparation should be complete, when your mains preparation is complete, automatically your preparation for prelims is also happening. That is not the case vice versa. That does not happen like that. So if you have completed these dimensions between 3 months, next 90 to 100 days, you can purely concentrate on your prelims. 100 days for prelims, if you have studied this part well, is fairly good enough. And when to start optional classes? One suggestion I would like to give is, at least have as a thumb rule, before the date of your prelims examination, minimum 4 to 6 months before, your optional classes should have been completed. When to complete the optional? The day the prelims examination is there, you minus 4 to 6 months, that day your optional classes should have completed. It means your optional preparation should have completed 4 to 6 months before the date of your prelims examination. These are all thumb rules which I am saying. And when to start Csat preparation? As I told you, ever since 2013, Csat has been introduced as a form of testing for the what you call UPSC students. Year after year, the difficulty levels of this paper is going higher and higher. So in this backdrop, somebody student who does not have mathematics in his intermediate or graduation in some dimension has to start the Csat preparation very early. One more set of students who have problem with English, especially the Telugu medium students. And if you have a combination of non-maths and difficulty with English, then your Csat preparation should start much more before than your mains preparation. It means from day one, you have to concentrate on these two dimensions of your preparation. At least give half an hour to 40 minutes every day to solve basic mathematics answers and maybe 1 or 2 reading comprehensions from day one. Otherwise, believe you me, all your hard work in the GS will go down the drain if you do not prepare for this Csat examination. I know people very closely who are struggling to pass the GS paper 2 with MTech backgrounds also. It is very difficult nowadays. You need to definitely prepare this. When to take test series? This is a very good question. See, there are many students who always believe that I have to wait till my complete syllabus is completed, then I will take test series. So that is not the right strategy to do the test series. What I suggest is, say for example, you started your foundation batch, say in the month of August. You started your foundation batch in the month of August. From August till February, in 6 months time period, around 70% of your syllabus is covered. Around 70% of your syllabus is covered. The day you feel that 3 subjects, polity, history and economy, if major portion of these 3 subjects has been covered in classroom setting, the day you feel that I have covered these subjects at utmost length in the classroom, immediately you should go for your test series or mentorship. Very, very important word I am using. Test series or mentorship. The moment 70% of your syllabus is complete, because this is where your knowledge, whatever you have gained, is put to test. So it is always advisable to start testing whatever you are understanding in the classroom or rehearsing in the classroom through this 70% through the test series and various mentorship platforms. Okay. Next. Yeah, the 3 pillars of UPSC. Nobody can pass UPSC if they are weak in either of these 3 pillars. Indian economy, polity and your history. And in history, the 3 basic pillars of history: ancient, medieval, modern, and art and culture. So These three pillars constitutes the pillars of UPSC. So if you want to pass UPSC in the first attempt, it is not possible without expertise in all these three subjects. So you have to master these three subjects. Okay? Yeah, building your vocabulary. As I told you, building vocabulary is very important in UPSC. See, every subject has its own vocabulary. Vocabulary here means basically the terminology. Vocabulary here means basically the terminology. See, whenever you are writing an Indian economy answer, you cannot use internal security or ethics or international relations words while framing sentence. So these are the 5 subjects which have their own terminologies that you need to master over a period of time. So when you talk about Indian economy, what you should do as a fresher is, whenever you have a notebook earmarked for any subject, flip over the book, last 10 to 15 pages you dedicate for terminology related to that particular subject. So whenever you come across a new word related to Indian economy, immediately write that word in the back of your book, along with, if you are very poor in English, with a Telugu meaning next to it, then the English meaning next to it. So that over a period of time, you keep revising those 15 pages of content of vocabulary that you have studied and try to use that vocabulary appropriately when you are writing the mains answer. So that is how you need to build vocabulary in UPSC. The subjects where vocabulary is very important: international relations, ethics. The most difficult subject to master vocabulary is ethics, and this is where you will get more than 500 to 600 words to master over a period of time. So this is where your vocabulary ka dictionary that you will create on your own when you attend classes or when you read any study material, this is how you will have to develop your vocabulary related to ethics. The most difficult subject to master in UPSC is ethics. Why I am saying most difficult is basically the vocabulary, each and every word has a specific meaning, and you have to over a period of time master the art of using the right word at the right place when you write the answer. So this is one of the most difficult subjects, right? So these 5 subjects constitutes the overall base of UPSC. See, UPSC, if I see overall as a examination, it is all about game of 2500 to 2800 words. If you can master this 2500 to 2800 words in UPSC and use them appropriately, you can clear UPSC aram se. So that is how this 2500 to 800 words are divided and distributed in various subjects. Okay? Yeah. This, a toppers list. See, as I told you, important pillars. Just see the marks that they are getting. Just see the marks that they are getting. And believe you me, none of them is interview topper. That's the beauty. In UPSC, it so happens every time that the student who passes UPSC is not the person who has topped the interview. It means interview is not the test of your knowledge. It is the test of your personality. So it so happens that they are all toppers in their respective areas in mains. They are all toppers. Without question, I can make this statement. Because they are topper in mains, they are not topper in interview, still they have topped, it means that they are topper in mains examination. So here, it is the test of your knowledge. Here, it is the test of your personality. So in UPSC, building the right personality from day one is also very important. If you have knowledge, but if you are arrogant about your knowledge, you will suffer very badly here. That is why it is seen that people who generally get anywhere between 15th rank to 30th rank, they are the people who generally get the highest score in interview, because though there is a knowledge deficiency in them, the personality wise they are very stronger. So that is the reason why they get more marks in the what you call interview. The student who got the highest marks in interview got 206 or 207. It just see the difference. 206, 207 means 30 marks ka difference in interview. But still she managed to get because of her score in mains exam. Just see the score in mains. It is mind boggling. 950, getting 950 out of 1750 is really very good score. 1750 is the score for mains, right? 1750. So out of 1750, this guy got 950 marks. So you see how each and every dimension of UPSC preparation assumes greater significance if you want to get a good result in UPSC. Okay? Anything you would like to ask at this stage? Anything, ma'am? No? Now, these are some of the toppers. 2022, this lady has topped. 2020, Shubham Kumar is 21 examination she has topped. 2020, Shubham is there. 2019, Pradeep is there. 2018, Kanishak Kataria is there. Yeah. Now, very important, as I told you, there is something known as iron curtain in UPSC. What is this iron curtain? Iron curtain means what differentiates the toppers from the rest. This is the iron curtain. When you see the GS marks of all the students, when you see the GS marks of the topper and the person who got probably the least in GS, the variation is very small. On an average, students, the best they get is 105 to 110. This is the best, and average people will get 70 to 75. It means there is a variation of 25 to 30 marks in GS. But when it comes to papers like essay, ethics and optional, the variation is very wide. People will get in essay 50 marks also, people will get 150 marks also. Just see the difference. So the leapfrogging from others is happening actually here, not in GS. The reason why, because the variation between the topper and the average marks a student got, the difference is only 20 to 25 marks. But when it comes to a paper like essay, the difference is 100 marks. Same goes with ethics also. People have got 180, 170 plus also in ethics, and average people get 70 to 80 marks in ethics in paper 1, for example. So in paper 1 and paper 2 combined, I am saying here. Okay? So try to understand in ethics what you are trying to do, what you are trying to get here is, you are trying to create that iron curtain that I belong to a different league here. I belong to a different league here. In essay 100 marks variation, in ethics 80 to 90 marks variation, the boundary has already been created, and you only widen this boundary again when you go to optional. So that is the reason why, while telling the timeline, I said whenever you are planning to write the prelims examination, 3 months before, 3 subjects have to be completed: optional, ethics and essay. So that is how these 3 subjects are important, and believe you me, these are the 3 areas where minimum what you call effort is put by a student, because the student gets caught in the web of GS all the time. So that is how he or she does not give the adequate importance to preparing for these 3 subjects. That is where the quality does not come out. That's where it is very important. Now, how to score good in essay? See, one thing that you need to understand is, essay checks the depth of your knowledge. Essay is supposed to be written in 1250 words, approximately 11 pages. You have to write your essay answer. Believe you me, if you do not have depth in that particular domain or area where the question has been asked, your pen will not move. So the absence of knowledge is directly reflected in the answer sheet, where instead of writing in 11 pages, you would have summed up your essay in 4 or 5 pages. It only showcases the shallowness of your knowledge in UPSC. So that is how the only paper, believe you me, see, say if 2 students get equal marks, if 2 students get equal marks in mains overall, You know what determines their rank, who should get the higher rank? You have any idea? The marks of essay are taken into consideration, whom to give the higher rank in. If say 4 people are getting the same score, who should get the first rank highest, the second, the third and fourth is determined by your essay marks. It means because that is where they did not seek the GS marks, they sought the essay marks because essay is testing the depth of your knowledge. So that is why essay paper assumes greater significance. These are some of the ways that you can improve your essay ka output. You need to analyze the statement and this brainstorming. You generally get 1.5 hours to write one essay. What it is suggestive is that you should brainstorm for minimum 15 to 20 minutes on how to write and so creating a rough work of structure of your answer. Then you start writing your essay answer. Very important, picking up of dimensions, very difficult in essay because the dimension have to be completely opposite to each other and very wide spectrum you have to pick up a dimension when you are writing your essay test. And make a list of quotes over a period of time. Quotes are very important when you write essay. A quote in the starting, a quote in the end, certain 2 or 3 quotes in the course of your essay will fetch you very good marks. But the quote has to be in sync with the topic of the essay. It's not that the quote is something else and the topic is something else, right? And you have to write evidence and reasoning based what you call answer writing when you are writing your essay answer. It cannot be a generic statements always. Whatever statement you are giving, to support that statement, you will have to either give a life experience of any leader or any politician or any bureaucrat or any what you call an academician, anybody, could be a sports personality or a social worker, anything. So whenever you are writing a statement, you have to support it with evidence. That is called justified style of answer writing. And lastly, if you can do this, citing the authors in this particular book, this particular person has told about this dimension which stands good even today. So that only enhances the quality of your answer writing. You can draw inferences from speeches of eminent personalities also. Jawaharlal Nehru, while he addressed the nation first time after India gained independence, he referred India as so and so. So it only tries to say that you have read what this guy has spoken on that particular speech. Okay? So that is how the quality of your essay will come out very good. Okay? Yeah. The second dimension, that is ethics. You need to start your ethics preparation early. I have seen 90% of the students do not prepare for ethics at all. The word is, they do not prepare for ethics at all. Believe you me, they are not in the race. If you have not prepared for ethics, see, this subject of ethics is so beautifully designed. It is not the test of your ethical knowledge. Please try to understand, there is a huge difference. It is not a test of your ethics knowledge. It is a test of your ethical quotient. It means you can write a good ethics answer even without any ethical knowledge, if you are inherently a very strong ethical person. But as I told you, the biggest problem is in ethics the vocabulary. So the preparation is basically related to vocabulary when you prepare for ethics, because you should know the exact meaning of that particular word and whether it is appropriate in that situation or not. So when I am asking you to prepare, I am asking you from this dimension of vocabulary. That is how the importance of ethics comes to play in UPSC. Keywords as a list in foundation. There are 9 chapters, actually not 7. There are 9 dimensions in ethics. All the 9 dimensions you have to repeat over a period of time. All the 9 dimensions you have to repeat over a period of time, and you need to practice case studies also. Ethics is divided into 2 parts. The theoretical part is paper 1, paper 2 is your case studies part. Many students do not practice case studies at all. They only read the theoretical part and go in the examination. that is when you find it difficult to write certain dimensions in examination. So you have to practice the case studies also. Yeah. See, why this is called Chakravyuh is, if in the preparation phase, if you have not got this message that what I know is very little, if you in the duration of your preparation, if this element of your personality, if it has not been addressed correctly, you are not ready for this. The people who are interviewing you, they are experts in their particular domain areas. They are more learned than you and me. They are more experienced than you and me. Their knowledge levels are much more higher than you and me. It means that they are testing you from a higher ground on a lower ground. And if you start showing arrogance to them in the interview with little knowledge that you will have, they will take 2 minutes to show you your place. Then the entire effort what you have made till mains will go down the drain. The one quality that you need to imbibe in the entire process of your preparation as a student of UPSC is, you will have to shun arrogance of knowledge. Because whatever you might study in 4-5 years or 3 years or 2 years, it is much more lesser in comparison to what the knowledge people sitting across the board have when they are taking your interview. Very important, right? And from day one, you need to develop on this communication skills. This is the problem of 95% of the students. Even lot of toppers have this problem. The reason why, because is they did not work on this dimension. If I give them to write, they will beautifully write. But the moment I ask a question, in many of the mock interviews, I go as a what you call panel member. The lady knows, the gentleman knows the answer, but they are not able to express the way we are asking them to express the answer. In UPSC, this communication skills, both in writing and in verbal expression, has to be very good. If it is not good, then you will suffer very badly in the interview score. That is the reason why most of the toppers are not interview toppers. That is the reason why most of the toppers are not interview toppers. Very, very important. In interview, the moment a candidate walks, he or she, it takes 2 minutes to judge the level of preparation, the personality of that candidate. Not even 2 minutes. 2 minutes is too much of a time. The moment somebody starts speaking, we can make out the depth of understanding of various issues about herself or himself. 90% of the students do not do well in interview because they do not know themselves. What they are looking for in life from themselves. This knowing themselves is completely missing. So in the race of life, they are lost amongst themselves. So this should not be the case. You should know yourself completely. That is how you prepare for your, the moment you know yourself completely, you know your weaknesses, you know your strengths, and you start working on them accordingly. Okay? Read and by heart your biodata, because all the questions come, and never fill anything in your biodata just for the sake of it. Hobby, gardening. Hobby, stamp collecting. Hobby, philately. They do not know anything about it. Somebody said, I wrote my game as cricket. The moment he saw the biodata, he asked, what are the different ways of dismissal in cricket? How a person can be declared out in cricket? There are 10 ways of dismissals in cricket. If at all I have actually played cricket on ground, this answer will come naturally to me. If I have made up after having played gully level cricket, this will not come out naturally. Somebody said, gardening is my hobby. That girl belongs to Maharashtra. Now the moment she said gardening is my hobby, he said, what are the inherent problems in a black cotton soil? Gone. Because she did not do any gardening, just for the sake of it, she wrote gardening. So you cannot bluff in interview in UPSC anywhere, whether it is prelims, whether it is mains, whether it is what you call personality test. So you have to prepare your biodata thoroughly. If you don't have anything, put a small dash, no problem. But do not write something you have not done or you do not know. A positive attitude, I told you, the positive attitude is very, very important. There are many students who become pessimistic in the process of UPSC preparation. You should not be such. So for example, the case of Aadhaar, there are a lot of issues with Aadhaar that the privacy issues are there, so many issues are there. The students start thinking that the mere intention of the government is to take your information. That's not the case. If as a bureaucrat, if you are pessimistic in your approach, you should start thinking how I can ensure robustness of the data that is being collected, how I can secure the data that is being collected. It only shows an optimistic approach to a problem. Not introducing Aadhaar is not the solution. You have to introduce Aadhaar, but try to ensure that how the data cannot be stolen. So that is where you are trying to bring a positive dimension to that particular issue. So you need to develop a positive attitude right from the preparation stage itself. Okay. Self-confidence, yes, it will come only by rehearsing, whether it is a written examination, whether it is prelims examination, whether it is interview board. I have seen students, they have written 1,000 questions, what all dimensions a board can ask them, and they have prepared proper answers to them. Even if not all questions, even if 50% of the questions comes from the question bank data that he or she has prepared based on her or his biodata, 50% of the interview is taken care of. And whatever 50% questions have been asked beyond what he or she has written, some information she can always take from what she has written and give it that information. So you can actually prepare through rehearsal for UPSC. Okay? Interview, very, very important dimension in UPSC. Yeah, see, most of the students say, sir, I am studying but forgetting. That is the general what you call problem of any student. See, God has designed us to forget. Believe you me, forgetfulness is the biggest boon given to mankind by God. If you do not forget, if something wrong has happened to you in your life, that sorrowness will remain in the same quantum throughout your life. Is it good or bad? It is bad, because you will not be able to come out of it. It means forgetfulness is a divine quality that God has given all of us. Now if you have to remember some things, it means you have to rethink about that issue or person or a situation regularly. So the same way, what this Ibn Ghaus has said, that if you do not revise what has been taught to you repeatedly over a period of time, when you go to the 7th day, what you have studied will be zero in your head if you have not repeated. So at regular intervals, you have to repeat, you have to read, recite and recall. You have to read, you have to recite and recall minimum 2 to 3 times in the first 7 days if you want to remember that for a longer period of time. That is the only way you can come out of your forgetfulness. Otherwise you cannot. He says, first 24 hours first revision should happen. Next 72 hours second revision should happen. Next within 7 days third revision should happen. The moment you do this repeatedly over a period of time, that particular information becomes strongly embedded in our memory. See, we always remember your childhood, some incidents which you never forget. You have not revised it, but it is always there in your subconscious mind, which is coming in front whenever you are thinking on those particular lines. It means that the mind is selectively storing information, right? If the mind is selectively storing information, if you are reading or trying to by heart something which is of not interest to you, there is a natural tendency to forget that. So the only way to come out of that is to revise it. Revision, thorough, repeated or regular revision. This is what you need to do. So that is the only way that you can remember that particular fact or that particular incident about that particular topic. Okay? This is also one more technique, Pomodoro technique. I think in couple of movies also about this technique has been shown. Whatever is your target, put a stopwatch for 25 minutes without getting up from your chair. Try to complete the task. Even if you are not able to complete, it's okay. 25 minutes without any interruption. You study, you write, or you think, or you listen, whatever you want to do. After 25 minutes, 5 minutes break, again 25 minutes. 5 minutes break, again 25 minutes. So this is called Pomodoro technique of basically intensive studying, 5 minutes break, don't do anything, just relax. Again 25 minutes, don't do anything, 5 minutes relax. So the more these kind of cycles that you can repeat, 6 cycles or 7 cycles at a stretch, you will see the output increasing by many folds. The output increasing by many folds. This is called Pomodoro technique. This is called Pomodoro and very useful before your prelims examination. Believe you me, very useful before your prelims examination. Importance of reading newspaper. Many students ask me this question, sir, is it unavoidable to read newspaper? What I say, see, I may differ with some and agree with some. Newspaper is a very important element of preparation for UPSC. Okay? See, UPSC is a test of your awareness levels. UPSC is a test of your awareness levels. The best source to develop your awareness is newspaper. See, I am sure these two guys are not preparing for any examination. I am sure these two guys are not preparing for any examination, but the way they are engrossed in the newspaper shows that they are tilted towards awareness levels. It means that when a common citizen is concerned about what is happening around him, as a bureaucrat, it is a must for you to know what is happening around you. If there is an alternative source for you to know this awareness other than newspaper, go for it, no problem. But if there is no adequate alternate source, then newspaper becomes a must. You have to read the newspaper because newspaper will allow you to develop a perspective about an issue. Perspective about an issue. And believe you me, the entire UPSC is trying to test your perspective about an issue only. It is trying to test your opinion about an issue. That is the reason why at the end of each question in UPSC, you have an indicative word at the end of each question. The indicative words in the form of comment, in the form of critically comment, in the form of discuss, in the form of explain. They will ask you to elucidate. Do you think? Do you agree? It means in all the questions, he is not asking you what is written in the book. He is asking you what is your opinion. That is why he has ended that with a indicative words like comment, critically comment, discuss, explore, elucidate, explain, illustrate. All these words they use. The same question, depending on the word, if the indicative word changes, the question remains the same, the answer will completely change. So he is asking you to see a particular dimension in a particular way only. If a question is critically comment and if you discuss, then you have not written the what the examiner has asked you to do. Very important. Okay? A routine model routine plan. This is how we assume that the student is attending classes at this 4 hours time period, 4 to 8 p.m. in the evening. Based on that, we created one small model, what we call routine plan in a week. So I will ask the management to give you a printout. You can see this is not sacrosanct. There is no fixed template for a routine plan for a day. There are some students who are those who go to sleep very late in the night, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the night. There are some students who wish to sleep by 8:30, 9 in the night and wish to get up at 3 in the morning. Depending on your natural biological clock, you need to create your own routine plan. But the moment you are coming closer to the examination, then your biological clock has to be aligned with the timing of the examination. Because if in the morning there is a paper at 9:30, if you are getting up every day at 11 o'clock in the morning, it means that your biological clock is not aligned with the examination schedule. You may not be able to give your best that particular day. So before the examination comes closer, you have to align your biological clock with the timings of the various subjects in the examination. Very important. Very important question. Many of the students ask me, sir, how do I know that I should take this particular optional? So there are primarily 5 pillars. The only choice UPSC gives you in entire UPSC, what you need to choose as your optional. As I told you, one paper you need to take as an optional. Whenever you are choosing an optional, you have to ask 5 questions to yourself. The first question is the past performance of that particular optional. Whether the past performance of that optional is good or bad. See, as such, no optional is good or bad. But what happens is, in UPSC, a trend builds up that a particular subject student gets more marks. Say anthropology, sociology, PSIR, history, geography. These are the subjects where it is felt that it is easier to get 320 to 330 marks, right? And that is how the past performance becomes extremely important. Second is the availability of a good faculty, whether a good faculty on the subject is available or not. There are some students who want to take their graduation subject as their optional. Like for example, yesterday I was counseling somebody, agriculture happens to be his graduation subject. Now, I asked, how are you planning to prepare this subject? She said, sir, I will prepare on my own. Preparing optional on your own is suicidal. Preparing optional on your own is suicidal. You can prepare GS on your own. In some way I will say, okay, no issues, prepare on your own. But for optional, why? Because the questions come in much more depth. In mains and in interview also, they will ask you in-depth questions on your optional. If you are not able to answer, then you will not perform well. So for optional, you need to definitely take the support and a good faculty. Then availability of good study material. This is also one important factor, right? One of the most important factors is support in GS. Very, very important dimension. The reason why many of the students opt for public administration as their optional is the support it gives to international relations paper, Indian polity paper, governance as a dimensions completely get covered when you take public administration as an optional. So that is how that particular GS subject is supporting your particular optional is supporting your GS is also extremely important. And last but not the least is your interest in this subject. Do not take an optional. Why? Because people are scoring. Do not take an optional. Why? Because the support is there in GS. If you do not have interest in that subject, you will avoid studying that subject. If you avoid studying that subject, your performance will not be good. Why? Because they are asking all the questions in depth. So on top of it, ensure that you are taking a subject which you have a natural inclination towards. So that is how that willingness to study that subject will naturally come to you. Otherwise, do not take. Sources of study material, where from we need to study. Yesterday, I was counseling one student. He said, sir, I have decided not to study any prescribed textbook. Then I said, I am sorry to say, you will never pass this examination. Why? Because if you rely purely based on current affairs and read and prepare without the prescribed textbooks, You may pass prelims, you may 100% pass prelims and you will 100% fail in mains. Why? Because for mains examination, that perspective development will come only from textbook and your class notes which your teacher would have given you in the course of teaching. If you do not happen to what you call write your class notes and read your textbooks, you will clear prelims by reading from here and there, but you will never clear mains. You will not get the required marks in mains if you do not read the prescribed textbooks at least once. At least once you have to read. Then the study material that is provided by us is very important. Some subjects you can read from yearly compendium also. Subjects like environment and ecology, subjects like science and technology, you can completely rely on these two dimensions. Why? Because the questions generally come from the current dimension only in these subjects. So yearly compendiums are also important. Newspapers I have already spoken about. The test material is also important. The test series material and this test series material, again I am warning you, it is only for prelims. For your mains, only 1, 2, 3. Only these 3 sources will come handy for your mains. Yeah, obviously the newspaper is also there in the mains dimension. So this is not for mains and this is not for mains. Okay? So this is how the importance of study material varies. Yeah, some guidelines for freshers who are starting their preparation afresh. Minimum 15 to 18 months, start before your examination. You need to by heart the syllabus to know what all you have to study in the next 2 years, right? You from day one try to keep a mains oriented preparation strategy. Current affairs linking with static portion is very, 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 very important. If you do not link your current affairs with the static, you will never know why you are reading this current affairs in the first place. So you should know whenever there is a current affair related to inflation, whenever there is a current affairs related to the appointment of president, appointment of vice president, the role of Election Commission of India, you have to always go back to your static part of that particular subject. So that is when you will know why I am reading this current affairs. Why? Because it is part of my static preparation. Mock test before the examination, and as I told you, special emphasis on these 3 dimensions is a must. Okay. Now, English is a big challenge in UPSC and more so for students from non-English background. Now, this is one habit you need to inculcate. See, I suggest from day one, YouTube is a big no for you all. Please don't open YouTube. If you want to, when you are reading something in a book or the study material that is given to you, if you are not able to comprehend what it is trying to say, instead of YouTubing it, Google it once. So that when you Google it, along with that you will try to know something else also, some other topic or some other dimension which is linked to it. So that is how your knowledge base will increase. If you open YouTube and try to do, the vocabulary will not increase, the knowledge base will also not increase, and over a period of time you will go away from reading and only you will be listening. It will not fetch you that vocabulary build up over a period of time. So YouTube is a big no. Then very, very important, absorbing the essence of the language as much as the content. More than the content, along with the content, you have to absorb the style of expression of that particular content when you are preparing for UPSC. If you do not imbibe the essence of the language as much as the content, you will get a good content, but you will not get good essence of that particular issue. So you will pass prelims here, you will fail in mains here, because mains is testing the essence of your language, right? Then this is, now earlier we used to do, nowadays nobody does this. Yeah, this is one big stigma that students have. They do not speak with their friends in English. At least discuss the subject matter in English. Do not discuss it in the colloquial language, because if you want to improve your English vocabulary, you have to do this even if somebody makes mockery out of it initially. but gradually they will understand the importance of this. Lastly, these two news channels I suggest my students, Al Jazeera and CNN. But when you are listening to Al Jazeera, try to understand that it is fundamentally intended for something else. So, without getting carried away by the fundamentalism of Al Jazeera, only try to get the content from the Al Jazeera and the language from the Al Jazeera. The only rider I give. Yeah. This thing, why Ekam IAS Academy? One important dimension that I would like to talk here is the mentorship support that you get here. Other than the classes, mentors are there who are there to clear your doubts, do your answer corrections, help you in your routine planning. They help you in your routine planning. Okay, this is, and also suggest you for various sources and other dimensions. Why? Because if in UPSC, if you feel that you will attend the class and go back home and study and you will pass the examination, there is no bigger fool than you. Why? Because whether you are properly studying or not, if somebody is not giving a scientific feedback of your performance, if somebody is not giving a scientific feedback of your performance, if there is no mid-course correction in your what you call preparation strategy, it means that there is a high probability that your entire preparation is going in the wrong direction. So you need to definitely have somebody that who is trying to give you that support mechanism from day one, and somebody has to give you a scientific feedback. This is where you are weak, this is where you are strong, try to use your strength, try to come out of your weakness. Your economy is weak, in economy this is strong, this is weak. All these dimensions have to be told to you correctly. That job is of the mentor. So at Ekam IAS Academy, other than your classes for 4 to 6 hours a day, you also get the mentorship support, where the mentors are stationed in the institute when your classes are going on, with whom you can interact and get your orientation of preparation in the right direction. Rest all are self-explanatory. Yeah, a new batch is starting on the 18th of August 2022. As you can see in the past slide also, one of the top faculties from the country come to Ekam to teach our students, and every day 4 to 6 hours of classes. 4 hours is minimum for sure. You will definitely have 4 hours of class, and 2 subjects classes will happen every day. And these subjects are taught in continuity. It does not happen today economy class, tomorrow history class, day after polity class. No. Minimum 15 to 21 days of continuity is ensured in each subject to ensure that that continuous learning will give you a feeling, okay, polity 30% complete, economy 25% complete. With that perspective, we ensure continuity of 2 subjects at least. That is how the continuity is ensured, and for that purpose, I need to call you for minimum 4 hours in a day. Okay? It is not 2 hours class or 1.5 hours class, what happens the other institutes. Yeah, current affairs. On Saturdays, you will have a dedicated current affairs class for 2 hours. Whatever events that have happened in the past 1 week, important from prelims and mains perspective, will be discussed in the classroom setting. And after that, you will have a weekly test also. Both prelims and mains tests would be conducted every week with a proper what you call counseling sheets maintained, how you have performed. It has been seen that the students start with anywhere between getting 9 to 10 marks and stagnate anywhere between 85 to 100 marks out of 200. I am talking out of 200. It means that from day 1 9 to 10 marks, you are elevating to 85 to 100 marks. If on the platform of Ekam in the weekly test, if you are getting 100 marks, in the mains prelims examination, you will surely get 120 plus, because the difficulty level of the questions is kept very, very high, so that from day 1 itself, you get habituated to answering difficult questions. Along with that, your mains questions will also be there. I will make you write mains answer from day 1, the week 1 of your classes. We will imbibe the quality of answer writing in each and every student, and the correction of those mains answers would be done by the mentor earmarked by you in your presence. Your counseling would be scheduled, and in your presence whatever answers that you have written would be what you call evaluated in your presence, right? That is the strength of this institute. And as regards the study material, approximately 8,000 to 9,000 pages of highly researched study material each and every student will get here. It means you do not have to buy anything from outside if you are reading my study material. In the entire course of UPSC preparation, I may suggest 2 or maximum 3 books to buy. That's all. Other than that, my study material, my daily current affairs, my weekly current affairs, my monthly current affairs, my NCERT gist, I give you, other than these 8,000 to 9,000, 5 different areas, very important, 5 different areas I will give you what you call study material. The NCERT plus Tamil Nadu board book plus IGNOU material plus NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling, and Maharashtra board book. These are the 5 areas from where UPSC is asking questions from the past. So you will get a summary of all this content, of all these sources, in the form of 1500 to 2000 pages of highly enriched study material as part of your foundational coaching. So I am giving you anywhere between 10,000 to 11,000 pages of study material to study. This is over and above your current affairs. Current affairs does not include in this figure. It means this is the amount of study material support that you will get from the institute. The preparation strategy, we will take classes for more than 1,000 hours. Only the history, because history has got 6 pillars. Within the history there are 6 pillars: ancient, medieval, modern, art and culture, modern world history, and post-independent India. These are the 6 pillars of history. Only history will take anywhere between 410 to 460 hours of classes. Just see the depth of the subject. As I told you, 3-pillared approach: polity, history and economy. The thing is, not even one question in prelims you should be able to miss. That is how these 3 subjects, polity, history and economy, combined together, you will have 840 hours of classes. Believe you me, not even one single question you will miss in your prelims examination. That is the amount of depth that we will give you in those 3 subjects only. So that is how 1,000 plus hours of classroom learning. And when I am counting this 1,000 plus hours, I am neither counting your current affairs class, I am also not counting your explanation sessions. The current affairs class that weekly test that you are writing every Saturday, that would be explained to you in the classroom on Monday. The test happens on a Saturday and the explanation session will be held on Monday. It means I am teaching you, I am testing you and explaining you. So I am trying to complete a complete circle so that there is no element of doubt left in you. That is how it, by huge margin, it will cross 1,000 hours also. But because I am taking 4 to 6 hours of class every day, I will be covering this entire syllabus in 9 months of time period. My aim is to take you here at advanced learning. If you come here, you don't have to go anywhere for any other support, whether it is test series support, whether it is mains answer writing support, whether it is mentorship support, whether it is optional support, whether it is ethics support, whether it is Csat support. You don't have to go anywhere, because I will take care of all the dimensions of your learning. And one more important dimension that I would like to tell you is, the mains answer writing is part of your classroom learning. That's what I told now. Every Monday you will have the mains answer writing explanation session. whatever has been taught to you in the previous week in a question answer format will be explained to you on the Monday class. Okay? We also hold group discussions. As I told you, this is important from the perspective of developing your communication skills. So group discussions where we divide the class into two, for and against. I give a topic, then there is a time given to both the groups to discuss among themselves, then we debate about that particular topic in the classroom setting. That is how that confidence will come in the student. Okay? Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than anything. This is very much required in UPSC. If you do it the right way, it will happen in the first attempt. If you do it the wrong way, you keep repeating your wrong way and keep struggling to clear your UPSC examination. The path to succeed is straight. Now you have to decide your path. The path is very straight. Yeah. With this, we come to the end of today's session. If anybody has any question or any doubts, they can ask me. Anything you would like to ask? Ma'am. You have finished your intermediate. Okay. I suggest for BTech. Why? Because why I am saying BTech is a very good fallback option. Say for example, God unwilling, you could not clear UPSC. If you have to fall back to your graduation, falling back to BTech is much more what you call paying and satisfying than falling back to BCom, BA or BSc. So that is the reason why BTech is important. So I would suggest, if there is no problem with science as a subject, if there is no problem with maths as a domain or science as a domain, I suggest go for BTech, because it gives you a very good fallback option. You can go for your masters anywhere and you can pursue your higher studies also. That is not available for BS. It is there, but it is not that paying. That's the challenge. So BTech will give you that, an edge over the others. So unless and until science, if science is not an issue, you should always go for BTech. Anything else? Yeah. Nothing? Okay. So we don't have any more questions. Thank you very much to all of you for joining this session. I hope all your questions related to UPSC would have been cleared. If you have anything to ask in person after this session, I am available on the second floor. You can come and meet me personally. Okay. Thank you very much.